Hey, okay, so I know you guys wanted to see an updated base video, so that's what we're gonna do today. I am not including my like skincare prep because I literally just uploaded it. So I'll link it like up here somewhere. But basically the last step, my like primer, in other words, is my Elta MD sunscreen. So that's what I just went in with, which is the UV Clear, this guy right here. And I applied that about 15 minutes before I apply my makeup. Just really quick, a disclaimer, I have been going to a dermatologist, and I will say, like, everybody keeps complimenting my base, and I appreciate that, but I have to say that your skin underneath it is a big thing. So it's not just the products that I'm using. I've used these products a million times before. Most of them are like long favorites of mine, or some of them are long favorites of mine. The big difference is going to see a dermatologist, using prescription products, clearing up my breakouts, and texture. That's the big one. So just keep that in mind. So I'm gonna start off, I've been using that incredibly expensive under eye combination, okay? So the Phyto whatever Eclat from Eclat, I don't know how you say it, from Sicily, Paris. This is their eye concealer with botanical extracts in #1. And basically I said in that video that I was interested in using it as a color corrector. That was way too much product. Probably cost like $30 right there. And I mean, I bought it. It's expensive. I've been using it. I like it because it's hydrating, and it's kind of just like like a tinted eye cream. So as far as like color correcting, I don't know. It seems decent. So I just place this underneath my eyes, like where I have darkness. It's pretty good at like not creasing. It's like a peachy color, so it does like a decent job of color correcting. But I mostly just use it because it's very hydrating, and I also have it, so I'm gonna use it. I don't know if it's the kind of thing that I would like repurchase after I like finish it though, because it is $112. That's ridiculous. I'll probably just go back to using my LA Girl concealer after this. So I always apply my color corrector before my foundation, just so that like I blend well enough and then I don't feel like I have to take my concealer everywhere. So for my foundation, I've been using the Revlon Color Stay for normal to dry skin since I started using my actives. My skin has been so much more dry. You know, I highly recommend this foundation. My brain stopped working. This is SPF 20 and it's in the shade Buff. So I'm applying this with just any damp sponge. This is the Makeup Forever like water tone one or whatever it's called. Doesn't matter, dude. I just like, I use like so many different ones. So I put a pump out, which is probably too much. And then I'm kind of just gonna, I don't know, work it around my face, man. You guys know the deal, foundation. So I'm kind of keeping it like away from my under eyes, my direct under eyes, because I'm gonna go in with concealer, and I definitely I did do my brows first, which I like don't usually do. Anyway, I don't appreciate building up too much product. So if I know I'm gonna be putting concealer somewhere, then I'm gonna keep my foundation away from it so that I'm not just like layering a ton of products, because that's how you get creasing and how it looks cakey and all that stuff. So I start off just by evening the tone and blending that all over my face. And I take my time, man. I take my time when I do my makeup, mostly because it's just like very therapeutic for me. I really enjoy it. But also when you're not rushing, it's just a lot easier to like, you know, do it well. So now that I have like an even tone, I'm just gonna kind of look, you know, my temple areas are, actually maybe I'll just go with concealer for that. So you guys already know that I'm obsessed with this foundation. I love it so much. I've been using it for years, and they have formulas for normal to dry and also oily to combination skin. So to add a little bit more coverage in certain areas, like around my temples, I'm gonna use my Kosas concealer in O2W. This is like very hydrating, and it just adds like a little bit more coverage. So just in areas, like I have this little cut right here because I scratched my nose too hard. Just in areas where I need like a little bit more coverage. I always feel like I need a little bit more around my nose, and I never really do that, but I'm gonna do it today. And then I'm just using that same sponge. Okay, for my concealer, I've been using the Clé de Peau concealer. So I use the stick concealer in, I think it's Ivory, and I basically just like rub it on my finger. This is like a, I think it's supposed to be a full coverage. I don't know, it's like a matte finish. Just like rub it between my fingers, warm it up, and then just go directly under my eyes. But I just focus it like in the hollow. So like just underneath my eye bag to try and prevent creasing, although I swear it just always happens no matter what. Like product travels, there's not much I can do about it. I don't know. Into the inner corner. I'm actually going to go in with this little e.l.f. detail crease brush and just try to like blend anything that may have been taken up too high to try and prevent creasing in that area. Okay, and then for like just highlighting, I've been using the Clé de Peau corrector, radiant corrector for eyes in Ivory, which is lighter. And I basically just use this to kind of like highlight certain areas of the face. I really hate these kinds of applicators like so much, but it's fine. So I place it on my forehead. I place a little bit in the very inner corner of my eye because it gets like very dark in there. Along the sides of my nose. I'm gonna do a little bit here. And then a little bit right in the center of my cheek. So this part tends to like go in a little bit. Put a little bit right there, fuck it. Oh, you know what? Right here. You know what? I'm gonna do a little bit like that on my nose. So I'm gonna be blending that out with my Givenchy sponge, fancy bish. And this is just to do a little bit of highlighting. The other thing that I love, you know, you've seen it, is the Rare Beauty concealer. That's what I would be using if I didn't spend a shitload of money on this brightener. This is like not necessary. It's just like this is the base that I've been using. So that's kind of why I made a big deal about the skincare and going to see a dermatologist in the beginning, is just that like if your skin is looking beautiful, then the products are probably like interchangeable, you know? So I like to highlight up here and really draw some attention to my cheekbones. And if there's any area where I feel like I put a little too much product, I just go back in with my foundation sponge and kind of like, you know, lightly blend around it. So I'm gonna highlight this area, which is honestly so unnecessary. I don't know why I'm doing this because I'm basically going to go over that entire area with blush, but just realizing that right now. And something, a technique that I've been doing recently is just sort of a new nose contour. I'll show you what it is. I'm still sort of like trying to figure it out. If you've subscribed to me for a long time, then you know that it's like ever changing. I never really feel like happy with it. As soon as I feel like I figured it out, I change it. But regardless, I always brighten the sides of my nose. And then I'm gonna take a little brush. I have this guy from Sigma, it's the Edge Precision brush. And I'm gonna blend out the concealer in the inner corner. So I'll kind of like take this up to the front of my brow, just really brightening this area in general because it just like gets so, it's just very dark there. Probably applied a little too much product, but whatever. Yeah, it is really annoying because like I really like tretinoin a lot. I've seen some really great results with it, but if you just like happen to use, it's very finicky. If you just happen to use like a little bit too much, your skin starts to peel. And I'm constantly, I don't even put it on my eyelids, but as soon as I start using it like more regularly, I get peeling skin. Like I have peeling skin happening down here and on my eyelids right now, which is very irritating. And then I'm gonna use that same brush and just kind of pat that. Going in with my sponge to soften it. It's weird. Like I don't have, yeah, it's just so annoying because I literally don't put the tretinoin anywhere near my eyes and my eyes are peeling. But as soon as whatever. Okay, so next I'm gonna go in with my cream blush. So my favorite recently has been the Dominique Cosmetics cream blush in soft pink, just because like, oh, even though I'm wearing like a coral top, whatever, fuck it. I want to wear this. It's cute. It's just like strawberry, and yeah, I'm really loving it. So I've been actually applying it with a brush. This one is the, like, basically any angled brush. There's one from Sigma that I like using, but I don't have it right now. But this is the Morphe M405. So I basically just dip in. I was using a sponge, but I don't know. Now I like using a brush. Can't explain it. And I kind of like, I've been loading up on the blush recently. So what I've been doing is literally taking it everywhere. But I start like up high. So on my cheek, like between my cheekbone, well, I guess it's all my cheekbone, but like between my cheekbone and the apple of my cheek, I start there, keeping it up high, taking it underneath my eye. So this is kind of like where I'm focusing the pigment. And then I slowly blend up to my temple, around my cheekbone. Basically the blush goes everywhere. I take a little bit onto my, like the front of my cheek. I'm just like loading it up. I've been enjoying it recently. You know, it's been a good time. Especially cream blush, it just like melts into your skin. So I'm kind of just like, can't really get enough. Like, look at that. It's just so nice. Sometimes I take it up onto my temples. Sometimes I put a little bit on my chin. Like, I'm just going crazy, you know? So yeah, sometimes I kind of bring a little bit here. Sometimes I place a little bit like on my nose. So I'll take a little bit on the tip of the brush and just kind of like run it like right on the top of my nose, like right on the top. Put a little bit on the tip of my chin and then just above my like the tail of my brow. Okay, so now I'm going to set with some powder before I go in with the rest of my products. And for my under eyes, it's just been the LC Cosmetics Light Medium. That's just been my favorite. And I've been setting with the Sigma Soft Blend number 40 brush. So I just pick up a little bit of the powder, tap it off in the cap, pick it up, tap it off. I just like to make sure I'm, you know, doing a nice even application. Not too much powder, but I want it to be spread evenly. And then I'm gonna make sure that I'm nice and blended here. So I'm gonna figure out the crease and then just make sure this is all blended out. And then I'll take a little bit of that powder pretty much everywhere that I brightened. So along the side of my nose, a little onto the cheeks, just to get rid of any like shine between my brows. But I like to be careful with this application because I already have my brows on, so I don't want there to be like a ton of powder that ends up in them. And then it kind of depends on like the state of my skin, whether or not I actually set it with a powder, but I kind of feel like it needs a little bit of that right now. So my go-to setting powder has been the Ilia Magic Sands powder, which has SPF 20. Basically everything that I'm wearing has SPF, which is nice. And it's just like kind of a nice, like golden, fair golden color. So it works well with my skin tone. I'm using this brush by LaRousse. It's the LR308. It's actually a highlighter brush, but I don't know. I like a more precise powder brush. So it's the same thing. I just kind of like tap it off in the cap and then just really lightly dab it over any areas that need to be set, particularly like the areas where I need a little bit more coverage. So around my temples to make sure that that coverage doesn't move around, especially when I go in with my bronzer. And I don't find this powder to be particularly drying, which is nice. Because, you know, since my skin's been dry, I don't want to go in with something that's going to be like so incredibly drying. And I'll just kind of like dab this around the rest of the face. All right, for bronzer, I've been using this guy, Japanesque, NARS. You guys tell me, I never remember. And for my actual bronzer, I've been using the NARS, is it San Juan bronzer? I just really love this color. It's just so summery and golden. I'm still using this brush despite having just gotten my hair done. So I focus it on like a flatter side of the brush, tap it off, and very carefully around my hairline, I just pat. So kind of focusing around my hairline and then slowly patting downward. And this little patch is dry skin, just so we are all clear. And then I do a similar thing. I kind of just like this for my cheeks, tap it off, and then I start kind of like where I would contour, and then slowly pat it all around the cheek, bringing it up onto the cheek, just creating like a little bit of shape and warmth, connecting it up to the temple. So I'm focusing most of it kind of just like underneath the cheekbone and then up onto the cheek. Okay, and then something new that I've been doing with my like nose contour situation is taking a fluffy brush. I guess I'll use the Wayne Goss number 16, and I pick up a little bit of that bronzer on that brush, and then I just dust it. So for my nose, I have like a bump in this area, and it kind of comes like, it's very straight. My nose is very straight. So what I do is I take that bronzer and I just kind of like dust it on the top of my nose, where that bump is. And this kind of like pushes this area like down so that it gives my nose a little bit more of like a swoopy effect, but it doesn't, yeah, I don't know. This is actually a new theory that I have, or a new technique that I'm like testing out. So I just kind of like drag it down the top up there. And then for my contour, I've been using the Wayne Goss Radiance Boosting Face Palette, and I don't obviously haven't used the bronzer, but I use the contour shade. And I've been doing my contour after all of this because I feel like when I was doing my contour before blush and bronzer, I was applying a lot more. So now it kind of like allows me, like I've gone with the bronzer and created a little bit of shape. So now it allows me to kind of just like do tiny little enhancements, you know? And for that, I'm using the Morphe R31 brush. So I'm gonna start off with my jawline. Going underneath my jawline, which isn't necessary for you unless you're like me and you haven't been eating the best and you wanna hide all the evidence. Okay, so for my cheekbone, so basically what I'll do is just take like the tip of the brush and dip it in and then tap it off. And then I will just like kind of turn my face to see like where the hollow is. Place the brush like right in there and I just do the teeniest little bit to help define that. Like literally just that much to help add a little bit more definition. It's like so unnecessary. I really don't have to do this, but I don't know, I like it. I feel like it looks more dimensional, you know? I do contour my lips, but I'm gonna leave that out because I literally just did a video on that and I can link it. And then for the tip of my nose, I'm not really gonna, I'm kind of gonna contour it. I'm just gonna like pick up a little on that brush and go underneath the tip just to give it like a little bit of a lift. I'm wiping off my brush to do a little blending. So just kind of like underneath the tip, and then I'm just gonna like flick it up a little. I like to refine the tip, and that's it. Super simple. Let me know if this new nose technique is like ridiculous or not, because it's like literally a thing that I thought of earlier today and I wanted to try it. Okay, and then to finish off, it sort of depends on like whether or not I want to use powder highlight, like powder or cream. Hold on, it really drives me crazy when my hair is like not finished. Yeah, so as far as like powder or cream highlight, it's just like, how am I feeling at the time? You know, the two that I've been going between have been, where did it go? For cream, either the Morganite highlight from Auric, which I've just been absolutely loving, especially on days when my skin is like ridiculously dry. It just looks like so nice. But my skin appears to be like ever so slightly more oily today. I don't know if you can see like a little bit more shine coming through the powder. So I think I'm gonna use my Vesca highlight, which is Vesca Moonlight. So it's this really adorable little highlighter. It's like a soft golden, and so it's like either, it depends on my skin, it depends on like the vibe. Yeah, so I think I'm gonna use Vesca. And I feel like I'm constantly like changing my brushes up. I have gone back to the Morphe M510 brush. It's just like a classic highlighting brush. Anything that's like shaped like this. So I'll just dip a little bit. You'll notice a pattern here that I dip into the product and constantly dip, tap off, dip, tap off. It's a thing that I do. And I just will focus it, you know, in a nice C shape, top of the cheekbones, just onto like the top of the cheek. Just really, like, as far as powder highlights go, this is a really beautiful natural one. Just gives like a really stunning glow. So if you have more oily skin, this might be a nice option for you. And I really love the color. Like, you can see that it just kind of like enhances the actual like glow of my skin. It does not look powdery at all. You can definitely build it up if you want to. Yeah, this has been my go-to highlight recently. And as far as like placing, highlight placement, recently I've kind of been just like keeping it to the cheekbones, obviously like my brow bone and my inner corner once I do my eyeshadow. Very occasionally I'll put a little bit on the tip of my chin and ever so like slightly above my brows, the ends of my brows. I haven't really been doing my nose recently, but occasionally I'll do like right here. And yeah, sometimes I'll just like literally take whatever's left over and just like kind of hit the tip of my nose. So yeah, guys, that's my updated base. Hope you enjoyed. Once again, you know, some of these are new or like relatively newer to me products, I guess. To me products, what? But I would say that most of all, the thing that has made the biggest difference has been the change in my skin since I started going to a dermatologist. And also just like waiting until like my skin got used to the actives so that not everything pilled or my skin wasn't like totally flaking, which it like still is a little bit. So taking your skincare seriously is very important. If there aren't any like magical products, I highly recommend the Revlon Color Stay foundation. I think that it has like a beautiful finish, and like I said, they have 2 different formulas for different skins. Ew. So like it's great, but it's not like magic. You know what I mean? If you haven't tried it and you think that like you love my base and everything, then like I highly recommend these products. Obviously I use them and I love them. If you're looking for a concealer replacement, because these other ones are like ridiculously expensive, for color corrector, LA Girl, if you're similar to me in tone, the shade Ivory, or they have like genuine color correctors like orange and coral and stuff like that. Rare Beauty Concealer is absolutely stunning. What other replacements would I do? If you don't want to spend the money for Dominique Cosmetics blush, the Milani cream blushes are similar and very beautiful. I love those as well. Drugstore highlight, Revlon. I absolutely love the Revlon highlights, and I know people really like the Maybelline ones, the chromatic or something like that. Anyway, there are plenty of options. Trust me, if you want to see me do a base that's fully drugstore, I can do that as well. Like do this exact thing, but with just drugstore products that you can see it. Let me know, happy to do that. Yeah, I hope you enjoyed, and let me know about the nose thing, because I feel like it's working. This side's always a problem though, because I have this like crazy bump over here. Whatever. Thanks for watching, guys. Maybe I'll see you again at some point soon. Bye.